And so initially when I saw these changes occurring, sort of a new curriculum coming into states, a new way of evaluating teachers, I asked myself, where is this authority coming from? And so I looked and looked as hard as I could find and couldn't really find any basis to find that he had the authority to impose these new policies, these new conditions. And so I began to look at constitutional principles, one of which says the federal government, when it gives money out to the states and tells them to do something with that money, it can't change the rules of the road in the middle of the game. And that's exactly what happened with Common Core and teacher assessments. The Common Core and value-added assessments of teachers were never even imagined. They weren't even in existence in 2002 when No Child Left Behind was being debated and passed. And now we have these brand new conditions that states never had any knowledge that they would be subject to. Those conditions are now imposed upon states. And so my argument is the federal government can't do that. The Constitution prohibits it. Agencies don't get to make law. Agencies enforce the law as written, and if the law would have said the Secretary can waive compliance and impose conditions, then he might have been free to do that. But simply because it gives him the authority to waive noncompliance doesn't mean he has the authority to make new law. The authority to make law belongs to Congress, fortunately or unfortunately. I'd say there's two big reasons why he imposed it. One was he thought it was good policy, and that's something to take into account, that this may be good for schools. I take no position on whether the Common Core is good or bad, or whether value-added assessment is good or bad. My question simply is, do you have the authority? But certainly when one believes that you're in the right and you're doing something that's good for kids, sometimes you may worry a little bit less about the process. Well, I do believe there are a number of states who have signed on to Common Core and value-added assessments who didn't really want to, but they felt compelled to, that they were forced to, otherwise they were going to be in violation of No Child Left Behind. So there are a handful of states out there that now have a legal rationale to say, you can't do this to us. You cannot force us to adopt Common Core in exchange for No Child Left Behind waivers. You cannot force value-added assessments down our throats. And there's big constituency out there for that. 60% of the public says that they object to the Common Core.